What does the unified platform really mean for retailers? And how does it bring together different in-store technologies?
The reason that the unified platform is so important is because consumers don't see channels. They just see solutions. Either you solve the problem or you don't. Consumers now carry the store around with them in their purses and pockets. So they can shop 24/7. The world is their assortment, and they expect retailers to be able to respond in kind. So the question for retailers is, how do you join the consumer's digital world? Because they're already there.
So last decade or so, I've really been focusing on the blurring of the lines, what I call, how the digital and physical are sort of becoming one, how one augments or makes the other better, more effective, more interesting. I'm really interested in sort of how they combine and not sort of how they break apart. And I think we've put a lot of energy over the last decade in measuring and the effectiveness of each in its own way. But I think the next generation is really going to be about how they complement and build on each other's strengths. So that could be, the digital manifestations in our physical stores, or even if we get into really emerging technologies, the physical manifestations in our digital environment. So we're going to have more and more opportunities to see these lines blurring, making it harder in some cases to measure their effectiveness because we won't be exactly sure what's influencing what, but we're pretty good at data now.
Thinking about the tech perspective of things, I think it's a very hard challenge for retailers to take, thinking how can I take that omnichannel experience to my stores? And I think that this is very much the power of connecting the store tech all together under this unified platform, this overarching, if you will, management system that's going to give them visibility and that's going to make everything run smoother on their end and feel more connected for shoppers. I think that this is a key turning point today in retail tech. And I think that as we go, we're going to see more and more solutions that are based on platforms that are going to be unifying this experience, whether it being in store for shoppers or whether it being for, access to data and making sure that we can drive retail through actuality of what is happening in the aisles.
Maybe, Brian, within the in-store sensing and analytics, retailers have to access real-time insights. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. So can you share some examples of how data can drive smarter decisions and that smarter store?
So what retailers are focused on now is being able to see what's going in the operation. Now, why do they want to see it? The reason they want to see it is because they can impact it while something is happening. So a simple but pretty profound idea is the idea of being able to influence a shopper journey while they're standing in aisle. Do I want to be able to help the customer make the best decision for his or her lifestyle based on the information available? A statistic that said something like 80% of all consumers are checking their phones, their mobile devices, and reading reviews while they're in the store. Why wouldn't you want them to talk to you about what they're looking at and why they're looking at it? And if you can analyze, then you can react.
Carl, where does AI play in improving the customer journey?
The first is the shift from, the traditional sort of closed box CRM to CDPs now. So we're able to contextualize data in these much larger platforms. So I would say sort of this shift to CDP is really important right now, where we're thinking much broader sense about the customer, much less transactionally, as we've been talking about and trying to understand. And the second acronym that's been around for a while, but I think we're starting to get better thanks to AI to get the variables, the tweaking of the algorithm better, is customer lifetime value. Like, how do we think about the customer, again, in a broader sense, and how do we engage with them? And this adds a lot of opportunities within new business models that are not just margin plus traditional retail resell. There's a lot of ways that we can engage and monetize our relationships with our customers in ways that are mutually beneficial. And that AI is going to play a bigger and bigger role there too.
Well, and it's a big USP when you refer to vision technology and edge sense technology. Maybe describe in your detail how Fusion can help on-shelf availability.
Sure. So, VusionGroup has had computer vision technology for years already. Serving customers with actual insights of what's happening at the shelf is something that we've done for quite some time. If we transform that into the platform aspect of things and the additional value they get out of EdgeSense and having everything under one roof, is that you're going to have the ability to have this big data, like I think that Carl was alluding to that, data like this entire pool of information that you have access to. So here, think about it as in, as opposed to having this information coming through one piece of your store and feeding only the associates that might be responsible for that. You're going to have access to this information that's going to be both feed the associates tasks, that is going to prioritize what they have to do. And that's also going to feed the supply chain system automatically, making sure that, this visibility of what's happening in the aisle is going to go all the way to the supply chain team so that they can make those informed decisions, all the way to incorporating this AI and forecasting aspect so that we can help them make those decisions with, some sense of what's coming next is what we're looking at. So the ability to connect all this data is going to build what retail is going to be in 5 years down the road.